In this tutorial, we are going to walk through per event graphing. It is an advanced whatifi feature that fundamentally allows a CFO, an advisor, or a client to step through every single event in a scenario thread and to better understand how that individual event contributes to all of the calculations overall and on a step-by-step per event basis. So let's talk about our goals. We are going to cover why per event graphing rocks, explain how to zoom into a scenario thread, walk through both cumulative mode and individual mode, and then cover an important edge case when using modifiers in a scenario thread. In a typical spreadsheet, unless a person has designed in advance all of the breakpoints and pre-planned each step-by-step calculation, it can be incredibly hard to understand how a financial calculation is reached. In whatifi, we break down every calculation in a step-by-step, event-by-event basis. This makes it incredibly easy to understand how all of these events contribute to the overall calculation and how a single event contributes to a final calculation on a per account and per thread basis. Let's start by zooming into a thread. On the right-hand side here, click on the right arrow to drill down one extra layer into an individual scenario thread. We are still in default mode, which means the calculation is showing this endpoint's final value. Now let's switch to individual mode. In individual mode, we are displaying only the calculations coming from a singular event, not all of the combinations combined. Lastly, let's switch to cumulative mode. Cumulative mode is additive. First, we display event number 1. Now we're displaying event number 1 and event number 2. And lastly, event 1, 2, and 3. One very important edge case in whatifi is how we use modifiers. If you have a modifier in your scenario, the calculations and changes from a modifier are pre-applied to all of these upstream events. So you will notice that even though this modifier is modifying events upstream, we are not seeing a change in the calculations as a result. They are already pre-applied. To return back to a top-level view, click on the Back to All Scenario Threads, and we are back looking at all three scenarios on their own. So in summary, per event graphing is the ability to drill down a layer into a singular thread and to view that thread in a default mode, individual mode, or cumulative mode, and better understand how each individual calculation contributes to the larger calculation, and to use this for troubleshooting, presentation, and error checking purposes.